Today's January 7th. We're reading Proverbs chapter 7. At least for this month, you can always know what chapter we're on based on the day of the month. So it's January 7th. We're in Proverbs 7. And if you missed today, or maybe this is your first time joining us, don't worry about catching up chapters 1 through 6 or filling in gaps where you've missed. We're just trying to get in the habit of reading the Bible every day. If you've not read Proverbs 7 yet, just pause this video, regardless of what you've read before today. Go back and read Proverbs chapter 7, and then come join us, watch this video, and be sure to leave a comment with something God's teaching you through the chapter today. As we read Proverbs 7, we see the third chapter in a row that is referencing adultery, warnings against adultery. All of chapter 5 was a warning against an adulterous woman, right? Again, written to the writer's son. And then part of chapter 6 even again references don't be drawn into this adulterous relationship. And then all of chapter 7 is about the warnings against an adulterous woman, a temptress. And of course, this isn't just adultery, but this is a temptation of any sexual sin. So if you're married, maybe it is warnings against adultery. If you're single, it's warning against sexual sin. It's a struggle that is common to all people. And I think we fall into one of two places as we read a chapter like Proverbs 7. One is we kind of brush it off and say, I would never be that foolish. Now, Lord, thank you that I'm not like the fool. And then the other camp is kind of relatable. Like, I get this. I feel the temptation. Maybe it's with a person. Maybe it's with a computer screen. But I understand the struggle and the temptation. And you kind of almost feel guilty and beat yourself up. Lord, how do I overcome this? I think the proper way to view this is to understand that this is a temptation that comes to all people. It doesn't matter who you are or how holy you believe you are. Everyone is tempted, and you must be on the lookout. I remember early on in my marriage, a very godly man pulling me aside, and I had said something to him about, I would never look at anyone other than my wife. I would never cheat. And he very sternly said, never say never. And he shared with me his own testimony of his unfaithfulness to his wife early in their marriage. And here this godly man was reminding me that this is a temptation we need to look out for. Now, verse 22 describes it as it says, all at once he follows her as an ox goes to the slaughter. An ox doesn't know he's going to be slaughtered. He's just mindlessly following. It's just something that happens. Sometimes it's not even that we intend to fall into these temptations. It's just we don't safeguard ourselves from them. We just follow along until we find ourselves in this sin. Verse 23 says he doesn't know that it will cost him his life. These sexual sins have more weight than many other sins, more consequences than many other sins that we need to be very, very careful of. It can cost you a marriage. It can cost you a very healthy and promising relationship. It can cost you a lot. So there's warnings here that we need to take heed of. Even if you feel like that's not a current temptation, know that if you're not safeguarding yourself against them, taking the wisdom of the writer of Proverbs to be careful that anybody can be led like an ox to the slaughter. As we wrap up, I do want to make a quick announcement. Just to remind you that if you're wanting to be a part of our reading together and find yourself forgetting to check videos or you're not on Facebook, you can actually sign up for text reminders that kind of are delivered to your phone every morning and kind of remind us, don't forget to read today's chapter. Also, we'll have a link to a YouTube video, this video on YouTube. So if you want to watch it on YouTube, of course, then hop over on Facebook so you can leave a comment in there as well. You can always reply back to the text with a comment of what God's teaching you. But if you want to sign up for those text reminders, you can text the @ symbol, then Bible FBC with no spaces. So @Bible FBC. Text that to the number 81010. So that's @Bible FBC to 81010. And that'll get you signed up to receive text reminders for the daily reading, including a link to the YouTube video of the daily reading as well.